Are you curious about how often your furry friend can become pregnant in a year? As a dog owner, it's important to understand your dog's reproductive health and the limitations that come with it. Knowing this information can help you make informed decisions about breeding your dog and ensuring their overall health and well-being. So, how many times can a dog get pregnant in a year? Let's explore the answer to this question. How often do female dogs come into heat? Dogs typically have 2 heat cycles per year, or about every 6 months, but the time between cycles can vary depending on the individual dog. It's normal for some dogs to have irregular cycles when they first start cycling, and it can take up to 2 years for some females to develop a regular cycle. However, there is no evidence that irregular cycles increase the risk of false pregnancies or uterine infections. Smaller breeds tend to have more regular cycles, while larger breeds may only have 1 cycle per year or even less frequently, with some giant breeds having a cycle once every 12 months. What are the signs of a dog in heat? The main sign that a female dog is in heat is vaginal bleeding, which may not become noticeable until a few days after the start of the heat cycle. Swelling of the vulva and increased attention to the rear end are also common signs. During the first week of the heat cycle, the female dog will not usually allow mating, but will become attractive to male dogs. The discharge will gradually become less bloody as the cycle progresses. Some females may experience heavy bleeding, so it's best to consult a veterinarian if you are concerned. The female dog may also urinate more frequently, as the urine contains pheromones and hormones that signal her receptiveness to male dogs. Heat cycles usually last for about 2 to 3 weeks, beginning with the first signs of discharge and ending when the discharge stops and the vulva returns to its normal size. When is the best time to mate your dog? Determining the exact time of ovulation during a dog's heat cycle can be challenging. Generally, ovulation and receptiveness occur around the 11th day of the cycle, when the discharge becomes less bloody and the female actively seeks out a mate. However, ovulation can occur earlier or later in the heat cycle, making it difficult to pinpoint the optimal time for breeding. When should you first breed your female dog? Dogs can go into heat for the first time anywhere between 6 months and 2 years old, with smaller breeds typically reaching sexual maturity earlier than larger breeds. Due to this wide range, it's best to determine when to breed a dog based on their heat cycles rather than age. Veterinarians generally recommend waiting until the 3rd heat cycle before breeding a dog to allow them to fully mature physically, mentally, and emotionally, and to reduce the risk of injury or stunted growth during pregnancy. This also gives breeders ample time to take their dog to the vet for vaccinations, health checkups, and necessary testing to ensure that breeding is ethical and beneficial for the dog's breed. Waiting also increases the likelihood of the dog being a good and nurturing mother. What can you do to ensure mating is successful? Male dogs are more sensitive to stress during mating than females, so it's best to have the mating take place in the male dog's familiar environment. Females are usually taken to the male dog's home for breeding. Timing is crucial, and it's recommended to have your female tested to determine the best days for breeding. For most females, the optimal time for breeding is between the 10th and 14th day of their heat cycle, but this can vary greatly. Blood tests can help determine the ideal period for your dog. It's typical to arrange for 2 matings, spaced 24 to 48 hours apart. Ask the owner of the stud about the process if your dog doesn't become pregnant from the stud service, as many offer a free service next time. How many times can a dog get pregnant in a year? The frequency of a dog's pregnancy depends on its breed and individual characteristics. Dogs usually go into heat twice a year, while small breeds may have 3 cycles per year, and giant breeds may have only 1 per year. It's recommended to give at least 1 heat cycle between breedings. Although a dog can have over 10 litters, most dogs cannot produce that many healthy litters. When should you last breed your female dog? It's best to stop breeding your dog when they reach the age of 5 to 7. After this age, pregnancies can be risky for dogs and may lead to complications such as miscarriages, injuries, or death. You found your dog tied to a female dog during a mismating. Was there anything you could do to separate them? It is not helpful to try and separate mating dogs with cold water or other means, as it can cause harm to the female and is unlikely to be successful. If your dog has mated with the wrong partner, it is important to consult with your veterinarian as soon as possible. The number of times a dog can get pregnant in a year depends on several factors, including their breed and individual health. As a responsible pet owner, it's essential to educate yourself about your dog's reproductive health and make informed decisions about breeding. Always consult with your veterinarian to ensure the safety and well-being of your furry friend. Remember, a healthy and happy dog is a cherished member of the family.